Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure joining you all on yet another edition of your health program, You and Your Health, aired on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia. For presentation, I am Esiel Siliengu. It's a health condition that begins from birth to the age of 14 or 19. Childhood cancer affects children and also adolescents, with approximately 25 out of every 1 million children diagnosed with cancer in Cameroon each year. Cameroon, like every other low and medium rate income countries, experience a high rate of childhood cancer each year. Today we'll be looking at what childhood cancer is all about and how the health condition can be managed. With me here in the studio is a nurse in pediatric oncology, but before introducing her, I have the honor to introduce my co-host for the day, Immaculate Fogge. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Lucy. Good afternoon to you, nurse. Good afternoon to our listeners and of course our televiewers. It's a pleasure being with you all.
Thank you very much, Immaculate Fogwe. Like I mentioned earlier, with us here in the studio already present is a nurse in pediatric oncology. She is not a person that Vera NJAMNSHI. She is a pediatric nurse in oncology and also same time the coordinator of the CBC hospital in Bapi when it comes in Bopi, to be precise, when it concerns childhood cancer. We are honored having you on today's program, nurse.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Immaculate. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, and hope we'll be having you always on our program.
Yes.
And straight away, we'll begin with our first question. We would like to know from you, nurse, it is your field, it is your domain. What is cancer all about?
Okay, I want to talk about cancer in general. The word cancer represents a group of diseases. It's not one kind of disease. And there are more than 100 different kinds of cancer. Now, these are diseases that begin inside the body. We know for many diseases, a germ is outside and enters your body, but cancer starts right inside the body. To understand what cancer is, let me talk about the normal body. The body is made up of systems. If I say the respiratory system, it has to do with your airway and the lungs. The digestive system starts from the mouth to the stomach, to the intestines, down to the anus. So each system is made up of organs. The lung is an organ. The stomach is an organ. And in each organ, there are parts. And each part is made up of cells. So the smallest part of the body is called a cell. When new cells are formed, the cells grow, they mature, and then they multiply. It means they divide to form new cells. And these follow growth controls. Now, something happens. When there is a change in one cell, it can be in one cell, it can be in two cells, in a particular organ or in a particular part of the body. That cell grows without listening to controls. It matures maybe without listening to controls. It divides or multiplies without listening to controls. That is how cancer forms. So cancer forms at the very small level of the body. And that is why, as we go on, when cancer starts, people don't feel it because it is something very small, deep inside the least part of the body. So cancer cells, in a nutshell, are stubborn cells. They don't listen to growth controls. They do their own thing. The body gives controls, they do their own thing. And these are the characteristics of cancer. They grow out of control, they multiply out of control, and they occupy space. So if cancer is in an organ, for example, it will grow and take the space that the normal cells of that organ occupy. So it has that capacity to fight and take somebody's place. Like I come to your house, I send you out of your house, I sit in your house, I deliver my children, and we grow down, we push your children out. That is what cancer does. And then it really adapts to where it doesn't belong. So a cancer cell splits from where it has started and goes and hangs in another tissue or another organ. It just grows there as if it's okay, and then it takes the parts. That's when cancer is spreading. So that is what we mean by cancer, whether in children or in adults. And there are more than 100 different kinds of cancers. And then there are cancers that belong to children and there are cancers that belong to adults. So
Like
this is a nutshell of what cancer is like.
Okay, like you rightly mentioned, there are cancers that belong to children and also adults. So how does the two differ?
Cancers in adults are more frequently seen. It means more adults have cancer than children. Childhood cancers are rare, but we have them. So when you compare to adults, they are rare. Adult cancers grow very slowly. So somebody can have a cancer that grows over many years. But cancers in children grow fast. So they don't have too much time to live with that cancer. Again, cancer in adults grows in organs. But cancers in children do not necessarily grow in organs. As we'll be talking and getting along, we'll talk about some organs where the cancers grow. But the cancer is not necessarily tied to that organ. For example, we know of cancer of the breast, cancer of the prostate. But in children, a cancer will start in a part of the body, but that cancer can as well start in another part of the body. So that is it. And then adult cancers don't respond so well to cancer treatments like childhood cancers. Childhood cancers, especially when you treat them early, they are very responsive to treatments. Thank you.
For those who like to participate on today's edition of the program, here are the numbers: 670-5470-49. I repeat, 670-5470-49 or 656-622222, 656-622222. Those are the numbers you can contact us. And make sure whenever you're calling, you turn off your radio or TV set so we can get a clear connection. Back to you, nurse. Are there specific risk factors associated with childhood cancer?
No, the children have not lived long to be exposed to risks. About 10% of the children who present with cancer have had somebody in their family or maybe their parents who has had cancer. But it is not really, we can't really say this is a risk. We have one of the cancers that has a risk factor. Maybe it has to do with genetics of the parents. But still, for most of them, we cannot point out the risk factors.
In the case of Cameroon, where you are currently working, which of these cancers is very prevalent among children?
Let me talk about Cameroon, but it occurs everywhere.
Okay.
So, we have cancer of the blood, leukemia. We used to think that it is a cancer that occurs in the West, in Europe, in America, just because we're not diagnosing. It's quite common. So, children can have cancer of the blood, any age group, and the way it presents, you have a child who was very strong. The child begins to get tired, general body weakness. The child cannot play as much. The child is not active. So active, the child loses energy by the day. And one of the presentations too is infections. So the child has frequent infections. You treat an infection, then after maybe some weeks, the child presents with an infection, and the frequency reduces as time goes on. The child also gets anemia. Anemia is low hemoglobin. So the child gets weak. They notice that the child has anemia. If untreated, the child will need transfusion. And as time progresses, the time interval between one transfusion and the other gets shorter. So if a child needs transfusion, you don't know it's not malaria, you cannot find out what is happening, it's good to look and maybe suspect cancer. And the child also has persistent fever. When we say fever, we mean high temperature. So you treat for malaria, you treat for other things, but the temperature does not really go down. Like when you treat for malaria, it goes. So this is leukemia, cancer of the blood.
Okay.
And when it progresses, it can get complicated. Now we cannot know how it complicates. There are many ways it complicates, sometimes swellings and other things. The next cancer,
we have a call on the line. We'll come back to you. Hello.
Thank you.
We lost that caller. Okay.
Okay, let me talk about swellings. We call them lymphoma. So lymphoma are cancers that affect lymph nodes and lymphoid tissue. Lymph nodes are everywhere in the body, but in some parts of the body, they are external. For example, children, when you have a wound in your leg, in your groin area, you can have a swollen lymph node. Now we have lymph nodes in our neck, the ones that are outside, in our armpits. So a child can present with swelling. Most of these swellings are painless at the onset, and they grow fast. Well, there are two types of lymphomas. One part grows faster than the one.
Okay. We have a caller. Hello?
No, we just lost
Okay.
that caller.
Okay. One kind of lymphoma grows faster than the other, but lymphomas generally grow fast. They are painless at the beginning. It can be in the neck. It can be in the armpits. You can see a girl child in the breasts. If it is a child who has had breast development, you notice one or both breasts are growing very fast. Or maybe a child who has not even had breast development, you see the breast growing. It can be in the abdomen. We see a lot in the abdomen. The abdomen of the child just keeps increasing in size. And you see maybe the testes in boys, it grows in size. And the age group is 5 to 15 or 5 to 19 most of the time. So when you have these painless swellings, if you waste time, the child gets disfigured within a short time. It grows, lymphoma, one of the lymphomas is the fastest growing cancer that is known. So the child in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, the mass grows very fast. This is a childhood cancer. It gets painful toward the end. So most cancers, in fact, almost all cancers that have swellings do not pain at the beginning.
Okay.
This is where people have misconception. So when you say it is cancer, they say no. If it was cancer, it should be painful. Yeah. So that is lymphoma.
Okay.
How then is childhood cancer diagnosed in Cameroon, and what are some diagnostic tools which are commonly used in our country?
Well, let me get done. I think we have more childhood cancers that are common. So we have other cancers.
We are trying to manage time, nurse. We are trying to.
Yeah, let me just. What is important? Let us just know the early warning signs.
We have a call on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we have young children between birth and 7 years. Most of them come before the age of 3. They have a white spot in the eye. Or when you snap the child, you take a photograph with a flash, or now we have phones, you persistently see a reflection in that eye. That child is very young. It can be in one eye, sometimes in both eyes, please. It's good to check. If you find a white spot where it should be black in the eye of a baby or a child below 7 years, it's good to get consultation. Then we also have young children below 5. They get a swelling. The kidneys are found on both sides, these sides of the stomach. So if you have a swelling on one or both sides in a child below 5 years, or the child is passing blood in urine, either much blood or just, dots of blood, I can put it, streaks of blood.
We have another caller. Hello. Hello.
Sorry. So that is cancer of the kidneys for children. We also have swellings. We have what we call neuroblastoma. It affects children below 5 years. They can have a swelling anyway. So it can be in the stomach, it can be in the chest wall, it can be somewhere in the face. So like I said, children's cancers do not follow a particular organ. You have a neuroblastoma, but it can be in different parts of the body. So you have it in very young children. So these children are young, they don't complain. So if you have any painless swelling in a child, it's good to also suspect cancer. They resemble abscesses, they resemble other things, but it can be cancer.
All right. Due to time, Nels will not be able to exhaust all our questions. So I want you to go directly. We are in the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which is September. Tell us more about this and how can it help to create more awareness?
So September, we call it Gold September, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And we wear a gold ribbon. A gold ribbon is worn for all childhood cancers. So it's to create awareness, to let people know that childhood cancer is real. It exists. We've been managing children with cancer, and early treatment of childhood cancer saves life. It is to help people know that they need to support, families who have children with cancer, because it's a lot of work, and to let the population know that when somebody has cancer, initially the person looks healthy. So that's the time that we can put in all of our money to really save life. It's true that when it complicates, we have a lot of work that we still do. But most of the time, when it is very late, it's hard to save the life. So that's why we say in September. So support